Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, the award-winning gardening podcast as voted for by the Grow Your Own magazine and by my followers and by my listeners. I hope that you have all clicked that subscribe button. If you're new to the podcast channel, please do click the subscribe button and then you get notified of all the new podcasts that get launched. And if you're not following me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok, make sure you look for Gardening with Ben and follow me on all my social medias. So sit back, relax, grab a brew and let's enjoy today's gardening podcast with Ben. Hello and welcome back to Gardening with Ben for a brand new episode of the week. Yes, 2 episodes in 1 week, we can't be doing bad. But like I said, they're going to be coming back now, the episodes. Obviously not every day, but they'll come back on a regular basis where we can. So what have we been up to today? Well, we've got our video on yesterday on our YouTube channel showing you all the seeds what we're going to be planting in January. So if you've not checked that out, go and have a look at our YouTube channel and you'll be able to see what seeds we're planting this month. And today I filmed a tour of my plot, so I'm just hoping to get that on YouTube today. And yeah, it's taking a while to try and get it all put together, but hopefully it will be on in today or tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned for that and you can have a look around the plot and see exactly what's happening down there. So what have we been doing down at the plot today? Well, it's been absolutely freezing, and when I set off to the plot this morning there was ice on the car. It was about 3 degrees in total as I was going down there, so I didn't really want to work outside in the cold straight away until it had warmed up a little bit down there. So first off, we got started by planting some chilies and some peppers and putting them in some soil. Now chilies and peppers, it said on the packet, do not sow them till February. But knowing a bit about chilies and peppers, they need a long growing season for them to grow and get established and get a decent sized plant so that you get plenty of produce from it. So I'm trying to start these off a bit earlier this year. And the only problem is with growing them at home, because obviously there's not enough heat in the greenhouse or polytunnel, because they need 20 degrees for them to be suitable for them to start germinating. We're going to be growing them at home, and there's issues with growing stuff at home because you've got to be careful that they get enough light and that they don't get too leggy, because with it being indoors they won't get enough natural light. So once these start germinating, then I'll take them back down to the allotment and hopefully put them in the greenhouse or the polytunnel then when they've started growing, so then they don't hopefully go leggy and we get some decent plants from them. So that'll be as soon as they start popping through the soil, really. We'll take them back down to the plot and try and keep them warm down there. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can start them off a bit earlier and get them growing faster this year and hopefully well established for the summertime. So we've been sowing chilies and peppers, and we also sowed some leeks. We've got those leeks in. We've also sown some celery as well, which I absolutely hate. Don't ask me why I'm growing it, but I absolutely hate celery. I detest the taste of it, and I have never grown it for that single reason, because I absolutely hate it. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to give it a try and grow it. It might taste nicer homegrown than it does in the shops. But yeah, it's one thing that I can't stand. Let me know if anybody else is the same with celery. The taste of it and the stringiness of it, it just goes through me. No. So we'll see how it turns out, and I just wanted to grow it to see what it's like growing, to be honest. So we'll see how we get on with that. So we've sown some celery, and yeah, I've brought them all home, and they're going with my aubergines what I've sown to bring home. I've also sown some snapdragons what I sowed yesterday. They've come home with me. So yeah, hopefully we can get some stuff started and some stuff growing. And I just need to give them some water because I didn't water them while I was at the pot, because obviously I didn't want all the water going everywhere in the car. So we need to water them, and then we need to do my secret trick of putting the cling film over the pots, which will keep them extra warm and keep them moist and keep them like a greenhouse effect. Basically, it does them well, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll be germinating within a couple of weeks, because it's absolutely boiling in my flat. Thankfully, luckily enough, I pay for my heating with my bills, so it's all included. So it's pretty warm in here all the time. So we'll see how well they do at starting home, and obviously stay tuned for the videos because I'll be popping them in the videos when they start germinating. And I had a look at my sweet peas today, and they're doing really well. They're looking well, they're growing well, they've all germinated. So when they're big enough, we'll obviously be planting them outside, and when it's a bit warmer, so that they can start growing outside. But I'm going to be starting some more off because I want a lot of sweet peas this year, because they absolutely are a beautiful flower. They smell divine, they look divine, and the bees absolutely love them. So we're going to be growing quite a lot of sweet peas this year to make it look nice and add a lot of colour to the plot, basically, because what's better than mixed sweet peas? And they'll flower all the way up to October if you're lucky. So the more sweet peas I can grow, the better my borders are going to look. So we'll keep you peeled on that and let you know how we get on with it all. But every year I do try to do improvements on my plot and make it that little bit better each and every single year. So we'll see how it turns out and whether we've done a good job or not. And yeah, I've got about another 3 or 4 packets of them to start, so we best get them in the next week and get them started. So I'll be making a video of how I get my sweet peas to germinate, 'cause every single seed will germinate through the method that I use, and it's very successful, and they all grow well. So stay tuned for that tip, because it's a good tip, because sometimes they don't always germinate when you just put them straight into a soil. They take forever to germinate, or they don't germinate whatsoever. So stay tuned for my little secret tricks on how to get the sweet peas to germinate well and get value for money, really. And obviously with sweet peas, the more you pick them, the more they'll grow. If you don't pick the flowers, they'll just go to seed and then they'll stop producing the flowers. So that's the trick. You need to keep picking sweet peas when you're growing them in the garden or in the allotment. So we've been doing that, and yeah, we've spent quite a bit of time tidying up today down at the plot, because obviously these past few weeks I've been pruning my cooking apple tree. I've got all that pruned, and obviously all the branches have been left, so I've been chopping all them up into pieces and getting rid of them, and then just starting to clear up the general rubbish off the paths. I'm a very messy gardener. I'm not tidy whatsoever. I should clear up as I go along, really, and then I won't have to do this each and every single year. I'll clear a patch and I'll just dump all the weeds in one certain area rather than take them down to my compost heap and store them away. And it creates more work for me in the long run. Obviously it's quick enough just to dump them somewhere, but then you've got the joys and the mess of tidying it all away. So we got to go full length of the plot and get it all ship shape and tidied, ready for the year. And it's a case of just clearing up all the old leaves, what have come from my fruit trees, and putting them in my compost heap, and just tidying it all up. And there's so many brambles down on the plot at the moment. For some reason the brambles seem to come back every single year when my rhubarb is. It absolutely loves them. I did clear them all out one year, but they just come back, so I just chop them back to the root every year. I know I should dig them out, but I just cut them back to the base every single year and do that, and then I have to do it all again. But brambles are one of the worst weeds out there, because they'll just catch onto you, or you'll get your thorns through your gloves and stuff like that. I absolutely hate brambles. But yeah, once they're done, they'll stay down for the year once we've kept on top of them. And then I need to look at tidying my pond up and getting all that tidy, ready for the springtime, ready for frogs coming back and laying, hopefully, some frog spawn in it as well, because the more frogs we get on the plot, obviously the more tadpoles and the froggies will eat all the slugs. So I'm looking forward to springtime because I do like seeing the frogs down there. And obviously I've got my bird feeders up. They went up yesterday, so I've been looking at them today. I saw a few odd birds popping around. I think they're taking a while trying to find them, learning that they're there, but I saw a few birds popping around, going to them, and yeah, you can tell the fat balls have been nibbled on, which is absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to see more and more birds down there, because I've put different bird feed up this year to try and get different varieties of birds down there, because the more different varieties down there the better, and I just love watching them, even though you can't always see them because obviously they'll fly away as soon as you pop your head out, but I can sometimes sit in my polytunnel and watch them through the polytunnel, so it's good little observation zone. I'll have to create myself a little watchtower to keep an eye on them. So yeah, it's been busy all day doing all that, tidying that up. We'll be back down there tomorrow for a few hours before I start my night shifts again. Back on the night shifts tomorrow for 5 shifts, so I need to get as much done as possible tomorrow, because the more work I get done, the less I have to do in the springtime when it comes to the sowing of the seeds, which is a massive job overall. So yeah, we've got a lot to do, but we'll get there. And once I've cleared all my plot, it'll be a case going around doing all the painting, doing all making it look fresh for the springtime. I always give all my borders a nice paint of wood every year. However much they say this paint lasts so many years, it doesn't. It just washes off every single year, it seems to, and I have to paint it all again. But I do enjoy it once it's done, and it all looks fresh for the year ahead. So yeah, we've got lots to do. So if this is the first time you're listening to this podcast, make sure you do click the follow button. Make sure you do click the subscribe button, whichever platform you're listening on. And please do leave a review as well. It does help if you've left a review. If you're listening on Spotify, I think it's star ratings. And if you're listening on Apple, it's a written review. So please do leave a review. It does help loads and loads. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts. Thank you for listening to today's Gardening with Ben's podcast. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do click that subscribe button, and feel free to share it as well on your Instagram stories. All you have to do if you're listening on Spotify is click the share button, and you can share it straight to your Instagram story for all your followers to listen to, and help build my listeners up as well and get more people listening to it. Feel free to check out all my social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. Go check it out. Check out my dancing. Gardening with Ben. And check out the link as well in the description of this podcast, where you can check out my gardening t-shirt shop, where I sell funny t-shirts with all different funny logos and designs on. And feel free to support me by purchasing one, and all the money obviously goes back into my allotment, where I can share more gardening tips with you all. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcast.